Michigan has 4 native species of poplar: trembling aspen, cottonwood, balsam poplar, and big-tooth aspen. Plus we have at least 2, I only know of 2 non-native poplars, and that's Populus alba, white poplar, and Populus nigra, or Lombardy poplar, as some call it. But from what I understand, the 2 that you want for the most potent medicinal use are either cottonwood or balsam poplar. And it's a good idea to get to know the poplar trees because they have a lot of other uses. They're habitat for medicinal mushrooms and edible mushrooms. They're habitat for animals like grouse and such. Big fallen oak. And also they're good to make Balm of Gilead. And there's a few different ways you can utilize them. And in the future, I'm going to show hopefully a few different methods of using them. You can make a tea with water, you can make a tincture with alcohol, and then you can make the oil using olive oil or some other type of oil, or even animal fat, to make a salve. And you can also mix that with beeswax to make a harder salve, more like a chapstick or something. But here's another young aspen. There's the leaf, and that would be a cottonwood delta shape. It's a triangle shaped leaf, and the name for eastern cottonwood is Populus deltoides. Delta meaning a triangle essentially, and that's the shape of the leaf, a triangle. It's flat at the bottom here. It runs across and it's fairly flat, forming a triangle shape. Populus deltoides, cottonwood. These trees get quite large. And they have bushcraft uses too. You can use the bark to carve, especially fishing bobbers and floats, among other things. Good tree to know. The poplars are all in the willow family, Salix. And that the Latin name for that family, which I believe is like Salicae or something like that, it's basically referencing the salicin that is in that family of trees. And why that's important is because salicin, when you ingest it, it degrades into salicylic acid, which is essentially aspirin. So it's a pain reliever, among other things. Pain reliever and fever reducer. So that's important to know if you have a fever or if you have pain. There's a wide variety of plants in that family that can provide you with those chemicals that you need. And like I said, it's in the willow family, and there's a huge variety of willows, and there's quite a few varieties of poplar, trembling aspen, quaking aspen is the most widespread tree in North America. All the way from Mexico, all the way up into Canada, from the East Coast, I believe, all the way to the west. All the way to the west coast. I don't know if it extends all the way to the west coast, but Rocky Mountain area. It's the most widespread tree in North America. So it's a popular tree, it's widely abundant, and the family itself, Salicaceae, Salix, willow, is very widespread as well. And there's a lot of things that you can use in bushcraft, survival, wilderness medicine, and food from that family of trees and shrubs. So it's a good one to get familiar with. Alright, we're getting to the other lake now. Got through that small little woods there. That looks like it was from last season. Old rub from a buck. Well, usually you'll find these trees all scarred up. I mean, here's one, an old one that was rubbed a long time ago. It's all scarred up from a buck from years back. This one's been scraped down a little bit. Good way to see if bucks are in the area. A lot of times these fresh young stands of quaking aspen will have rubs on them. You can see the leaf looks much different on this tree than the cottonwood. It has bigger teeth and it doesn't have that delta shape. Let's see if I can find one. Here we go. There's a good example. It's more rounded on the bottom. The leaf is smaller and it has much bigger teeth on the margin. You can see how these trees grow from suckers. One tree falls over, or the roots run over, like in this case. These roots ran over, made a tree. They ran over some more and made another tree. And that likely goes all the way through here. Here's a tree, and it has a big root, or possibly even an old fallen tree going in both directions. And that brings up another good use for the willows, the willow family of trees. You can get a rooting hormone by taking the twigs and soaking them in water, and then when you want to take cuttings from a plant, you can take those cuttings off of the plant and stick them in that water, essentially a willow tea or a poplar tea, and roots will form on the branch that you cut. So it's a good way to clone plants for gardening and stuff. Just another good use for the willows, or the willow family of plants, which includes poplars. Now I always try and mention it, as much as possible, but I'm not a doctor and I'm not a botanist, so don't take everything I say for 100%. Do your own research and find out about these plants on your own.